Hello again. Here we are in part 3 where we start with the booing and rust remover, polishing metal, and I gotta get out a sanding roll on the Dremel and chamfer the edges of the pump tube a little bit where they use it. They run it through a tubing cutter and that leaves a little ridge that sort of sticks out like that around the circumference, scratching everything as I go to pull things out or in. Makes it hard anyway to get them in or out, so I got to fix that. And use some citrus strip. I got to find a brush that's not a foam one that I can brush the stripper on the receiver halves. You have to get that paint off and whatever else, tape gunk and all that's on there. And that will also help leave the raised lettering and stamped numbers and everything nice and crisp after I use some gloss black Rust-Oleum to paint it again, since this is later this will be a variant 2 on. They had just simple black paint on the barrel band and end cap and the receiver halves. The rest was blued steel, including the screws and all of that. So we'll deal with that accordingly. They have to put another valve in it. I'm still waiting for my son to bring back the front half of the gas valve assembly from the tool and die man. It was trying to get the screw out for me after I had to sand it. I had to grind it smooth to tap it out. And so if I could find parts, I'll buy that particular part, or if I have to buy the whole thing, I'll buy that. Either way, it needs to fix the valve. That's the heart of the whole thing. But as I said at the end of the last one, watch and learn. So let's hit it. Okay. Let's start off with Birchwood Casey Blue and Rust Remover, and get yourself a bag of these. These are great value from Walmart. Get 100 of them for a couple of bucks. Same thing made by Hefty. You get it at Giant Eagle for $2 or $3. And I saved this box. I forget what the heck I got in it. About a wide piece of masking tape and a Sharpie. I could make a label. Covered it with Mossy Oak Infinity duct tape, again from Walmart by Gorilla Tapes. Blues, whatever they make. $6.97 a roll. Couple bottles of Blue and Rust Remover. Still got some True Oil in there. Cleaner degreaser. And the Molly Lube. Use Molly Lube sparingly. That gun doesn't need to be completely saturated and dripping with oil and grease all over the inside. But anyway, and this one I marked used. We'll see how well that works. I'm going to get out the new bottle there too, in case the used stuff don't work. These things are so darn handy. I even use these 3-ounce bathroom cups for when I'm brewing beer, when you got to measure out hops and sugars and little things like that to add a little color or a little flavor and stuff like that. But that's another video. Well, it's got some dirt floating in it. I know I'm supposed to clean this. Oh, wait a minute, that's another thing I forgot to. Oh, darn it. Got to wipe the inside of this one out to get. Ah, I knew it. There's the other part of the valve. The variant ones had this over the brass piece I said was on the end of the exhaust valve. This goes over top of that. Oh, good thing I got that out of there. Okay, well, set that over there. See if I can just bend it over the barrel. I keep breaking them doggone. All the doggone my old 3-piece ramrod thingies, like cleaning rods. Well, darn it. Screw broke off in the end of that one. It's just too flush to get in there and deal with it. I was going to screw that together like that to make it long enough to get in here, but that ain't going to work. Okay. Oh, drop it in the fluid, you dummy. And there's some goop in there. Oh, I'm going to knock that over. So far to reach to get in there. Forgot to put the gloves on to keep my hands clean and keep the chemicals off and all that. And no, I didn't want to waste any patches. Just getting like loose grease and junk out of there. Though they would probably fit easier. Get all that. Now, if I could just, oh, my back is hurting me. There. Ooh-wee. A lot of grease in that thing. just kind of wad it up just so it'll barely go down the barrel. And or barrel pump tube, whatever. And you can get some more of that black crud out of there. Oil and everything, oil and grease gets black and kind of goopy as it gets dirty. I guess that's as good as that's going to get. All right. Let's get that cleaned off. Boy, am I glad I found that. I thought about my 760 variant 1 when I was taking the valve out of this thing, and I thought something looked like it was missing. It had a black finish on it too, and you can see it don't anymore. Oh, not to worry. Okay, let's get the fingers of the gloves clean. Okay, let's see if stuff's a little dirty, but let's see if the used one still works. Okay, tore half of one of these strips here in half and folded that twice and make a little pad. Put down in there. These two lines here are where the receiver clamps around it. And you can see it's starting to get a little lighter right there. That is a little whooped. Oh, come on. Oh, I always need a clean one. So much black grease. Just okay. Might run that through a sieve later. And paper towel. Use it in a shot glass, or there's a small jar or something for baby food jars are good for soaking small parts. That might work for soaking small parts. I'll just have to filter it to get all the grainy stuff out. So, Okay. Stick that down in there for a minute. What's left of the gritty stuff out of the bottom of the glass. A little darker. So I get Perma Blue in quartz, True Oil in like an 8-ounce bottle, taller 8-ounce bottle. But the blue and rust remover, degreaser, and all that, I can't get in those taller bottles. At least I've never seen them yet, anyway. You fold it in half, and in half again. We got a nice pad to work with. Just wish it wouldn't slip out of my fingers. Smells like the stuff we used to get in those home permanent kits. I used to have to, when I was younger, I used to have to help my mom perm her hair during the day, get all that done so she could get up and wash that stuff out, get it in curlers and all that stuff, so she could get her hair real nice for Dad when he came home. That was 60s. That's the way it was, folks. It takes a while. You can, some of these things that would get kind of shiny taking the old bluing and rust off. And contrary to what you might think, when I go to sand it, I go that way too instead of going this way. It was machined around like that, so when it gets little machining lines off there, looks like fine lines on a record player going this way. You got to sand it this way to buff all that, polish all that out, and get it nice and even and shiny. If you're doing it by hand, that's the way it is. And I'll have to dig around over there and the other box and get out a green Scotch-Brite pad to kind of even things out a little bit before I start polishing. And it looks more like paint. It's so odd. See this little spotty right here. Bluing mixed with rust. Now if it's just plain rust, this stuff doesn't work real well, but rust mixed with the bluing, that's chemically different to this stuff. You can see down here it's starting to come a little cleaner. So I'm gonna shut the camera off while I finish this, and then I'll come back and rinse it and show you what it is. And don't forget to buy a roll or two of these blue paper shop towels. These things come in really handy. Use a lot of those. Okay. Other reason I say some of these old half-gallon store vodka bottles is to put rinse water in. Won't worry about getting rust on the bores or, you know, chemicals and everything like that stain it, that we can use the gun cleaning kit. I've got some 3-inch patches I can use inside the pump tubes, for instance, which being shotgun size are perfect for that job. And give you a look see in a second here. The dang paper towel wants to stick to the surface of this thing. I don't know why. Makes it hard to. Well, anyway. It's got some thicker rust and bluing mixed right here. The chemical won't quite take off, and shallow pitting here with the bluing and rust still stuck in it. You can see the seam here where it was stitch welded and then smooth out and everything. That'll look even better when I get done with it. Here's getting down to bare steel, and that was starting to rust already. Well, it looks sort of yellowish. Not to worry. We will take care of that. Okay. Now here we have the barrel. That's the front side hole. Here's the breech where you see the bolt going through. So set the rinse bucket back down there. We'll get these things cleaned down as well as we might. Made a clean pad there. Stick it down there and get it moistened, knock a couple of drips off. I'm telling you, this dang stuff, hard to get when that thing's wet to scrub and wipe in both directions because it wants to flip out from under your fingers. Got a feeling I might have to use a lot of that green Scotch-Brite to get the pitting, the rust pitting out of this, because the rust sometimes mixed with the bluing, as in this case, gets down in that pitting, and it's downright hard to get out. You can kind of see what it looks like there. And I showed you how to do it. I'll shut the camera off until I'm done and get it rinsing it off, and then we'll have a look at it. Oh. Whew. Okay, I did some pretty serious scrubbing here and got it done as good as it might be. And again, don't worry about your barrel, Jeff, or the pump tube and all that stuff. It'll be slicker than a hound's tooth when I'm done with it. And however things may fall, that valve is going to get fixed or replaced, one or the other. I'm not going to spend too much more time thinking about it. I got to get this thing done. It's going to take long enough, but once I get it cleaned and polished, that's going to take a week. Then once I get 7 or 8, 9 coats of bluing on it, then it'll take another 5 to 7 days soaked with oil to cure before I can wipe the oily soot off the outside and reveal the final product. So it ain't over yet. Just getting started. Okay. Let's see if I can get this thing dried off. And there we are. I'll wipe off in the breach there. But anyway, see some flaky, rusty pitting stuff is stuck on there like iron. Not much of a chamfer on the bore opening either. I'll have to probably put that on. It's supposed to make it more accurate. So that's pretty good for now. But it's gonna look like a mirror when I get done with it. So we are done with the bluing and rust remover and rinsing for this. At this point, we have to start polishing. Okay, here I got the valve back. The guy drilled it out and he broke an easy out. Actually, the easy out shattered when he tried to turn the thing out, and it damaged the front of the valve. And that there's still a piece of the screw that you can see silver against brass in the hole there. So I got to replace that part. That screw was jammed in there so hard and snapped off. He broke his tools trying to get it out. And this is a tool and die man. They're usually very good at that. At that kind of thing. I know my brother is a tool and die, or was. So anyway, here's an exploded view. I just pushed that out of the pump tube yesterday when I was cleaning the greasy oil out. And some of the stuff was downright caustic, because that's usually blued or parkerized or something. But that coating was messed up pretty bad. I actually wiped some of it off. And then the brass part of the exhaust valve with the sealant that goes against that tube there. And there's that piece that looks like a piece of cut tubing or cut steel. It's either plastic or steel. Round piece that goes in there. It's a gasket between the pump tube and the barrel with a hole in the breech. And this is the exhaust valve that slides back and forth on there. And on this version, you could see there's like a tube sticking out there that the gas comes out of when that thing slides backwards and ports through there. And the spring-loaded piston dome. It's either short or long, and you can't replace that whole thing with a long one on this because it's not long enough, or it generally doesn't work. So you get the seal kit, and you got a short one in there, and you have to use that. This is the part that needs to be replaced. Can I give you a look in there? The screw doesn't go all the way through, as you can see there. That got tore up. It just, everything popped apart when he went to, when that easy out shattered. So I gotta either buy a new valve or just that piece there. I'd rather buy that piece there so I can have the original pieces aside from the piston dome here, and sometimes they'll give you the piston. and the springs, and sometimes they give you a stiffer spring, and so that'd be neat. With these seal kits, in some places like Archer Airguns has an assembly kit, so you can get assembly kits sometimes too. It's got parts. It's got all the seals you need, and parts that are typically replaced or upgraded. So we'll have to look for that, but that's where we stand with that right now, and that's what it looks like in exploded view. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this just by starting off, and then I'll turn the camera off and finish. But anyway, this is a green Scotch-Brite pad. They got different colors of them. The brown ones, for instance, are more coarse. This is fine. I polish commutators on electric motor armature shafts with this for slot racing. Polish it up so it would work better and get a few more RPM during a race. But anyway, see how that's kind of starting to get a satin sheen to it. That's after the chemical, and then this is the start of polishing. Just gotta use one or two of these to get the pump tube and the barrel over there clean. I normally don't like to go this way when I'm sanding or using these Scotch-Brite pads. Got to get the edge clean too. This is the inside, and this one with the slot is the outside end. Okay, I had to fold it over. It smooths out with use, or they put on there to make it coarser or less coarse, wears off, I guess. But here it is. That's phase one, you might say. Oh, I had to drop it on the floor. Well, anyway. Those gouges from cutoff wheel are starting to smooth out. Those deeper ones won't go away, but they'll smooth out, so that'll be all right. Alrighty. Here's the first round of cleaning and polishing on the barrel. Dust on my glasses. I'll have to get in there with a Q-tip in the breech here with some degreaser to make sure that's clean, and then clean the barrel out and everything real good. Maybe with a patch it with moisten with degreaser to make sure that's all clean in there, so it doesn't run down here and get dirt and funk all over it to where it's going to mess up the bluing. This is the only one barrel I've ever seen that's got that little groove machine around there. But you can see there's still some pitting there, and not to worry. I had to go to Walmart and order a bunch of silicone carbide and emery paper, 400 to 2500 grit. To even got 3000. I don't think I need to take it that far. Don't want it to look custom. I just want it to look like the factory done a really good job. Gotta be careful when you're restoring. You don't go too far and make it perfect. You know, like the best custom job you ever seen, like this Akasara that modified into a 757 over here. But anyway, looking a lot better than it did. In fact, I'll set both of these over here where you can kind of get a look at them. And again, the pump tube. That's the front, that's the back. And as I work it down with the emery and silicone carbide paper, it'll just get like a mirror, and all these little spots and stuff will be gone. And then we'll have to strip these, it's a zinc alloy. Have to use citrus strip on the outside, get all the paint off. Especially, especially right here. I don't know if you can see that, where that serial number is, 042, etc. So that's it for right now. We will continue on. I'm starting to lose light late in the afternoon here, so we'll continue on tomorrow. I'll see what emery paper I got left. I hope I got 400 and say 600, 800. And I can get a pretty good start on getting all that pitting and stuff sanded out and polished out, so it looks even better. But not to worry. I gotta see about ordering some more parts so I didn't get the front sight and screw assembly. I gotta order that and see what I can do about the valve. Now I got good pictures of it. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Okay, well, it's coming right along. I'm up to 39 minutes already. It takes so long instead of just using a picture or two while I describe what I did. It's harder that way for you to understand what to do. So this way takes a lot longer. And I'm editing little dead bits out of each section of video so I could take out as much time as possible, but I can only do so much. But as you can see, it's coming right along, and I now have to go online and search for the front part of the valve, or maybe you have to buy the whole valve. I don't know. That's an old one, and I'll be lucky if I can at least find the front half. And then go hunt down a seal kit, the deluxe seal kit that comes with, some call it an assembly kit, but anyway, it's the seals, all the seals it needs, with little springs and pistons and little junk like that you need, that frequently are replaced or upgraded. So once I find that and get the front sight and screw, things like that, and the screw that holds the valve in place after it goes through the right receiver half, right under where the bolt comes down, and will be set enough to where I can concentrate on restoring it, which I'm doing now, but I gotta spend the evening searching for parts. I'm going to try to use as many of the original parts as humanly possible. That's why it's taken me so long to get it apart and start refinishing it and all that sort of thing. I have to find certain parts like the forearm stock and all that. It takes time, and the work takes a lot more time. This is very time consuming. Hand finishing like you see me doing it up to now in this video. Hand finishing the metal and everything, and then hand polishing it so you can get all the dang rust and pits and rust, where rusted, thicker rust is mixed with bluing. It's on there so hard the chemical won't take it off, and you have to do a little scraping and sanding to get the stuff off of there. Coming along pretty good, but it's going to get better. It's going to get harder before it gets easier, that's for sure. So, keep your gun oiled, your powder dry. And good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll see you again.